Why?
Oh.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for listening to the O. Charles Show. I'm your host, Charlie Charles, and I'm here today with a special guest, Jane Panikar, mom of 4, to talk about how to feed your family well and fast. So, Jane, thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
First of all, why is a home-cooked meal important? We live in a world where it's very easy to get any convenience products quickly, frozen foods. What made you choose to go against the current?
Oh gosh. Well, I think we all know eating real food is best, which is crazy that I even have to say that. That we have to make sure we're eating food that came from the earth.
Yeah.
So that takes time, and I wish it was easier. But yeah, so.
Is that what you planned on doing when you were starting a family? Was that what you envisioned doing, was making home-cooked meals?
I had a mom who cooked every day for us. And I knew the importance of gathering around the table for dinner.
Yeah.
And my husband's family also, she cooked, she cooked for them every day. I don't know that she sat down with them, but they had home-cooked meals.
Yes. And what made you choose to focus on healthy eating for your family? Because there is a difference there. You can cook a meal at home and still not have a healthy routine for your family.
I know that the longer I live, the more vegetables I know I need to eat. So the more vegetables I know early on, I was trying to sneak vegetables in food. And
do you have any tricks for doing that?
Oh gosh. Lots of people know this. It just takes time, and it takes being home and being available. But I've noticed, so I have a senior in high school, a freshman in high school, and these 2 twins who are 3. And so they can see the food getting prepared and may have an opinion, but as they're watching it and experiencing it and seeing it, then I saw them even yesterday as I was preparing, kind of getting interested in a new food as they were watching it being prepared or participating as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've definitely noticed that if I make something or suggest the recipe or find the ingredient, I'm much more likely to try it than if it's put in front of me without that connection, I guess.
Right.
So especially for kids, that might be a good idea to get them involved. And that's also good time spent not on a screen, interacting with your family members as well.
Right. And I do try to make sure there's a fruit and a vegetable, mainly a vegetable. Even I've switched that. I think my sisters have helped me. I saw them feeding their kids, making sure a vegetable was with the lunch meal or the sandwich meal or the easy meal.
Yeah, I think as a life hack to our listeners, a great vegetable, carrots, just throw some in along with your lunch. I mean, it will fix a lot of problems. If you have any digestion problems or anything like that, if you know you're going to be eating a lot of junk food, eat some carrots. It'll fix a lot.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. That's so true.
So, are there any, in this process of feeding your family, are there any chefs, authors, or people, even family, whose recipes or ideas inspired you?
I love Ina Garten. Early on in my marriage was introduced to her recipes, and I love almost anything that comes out of her cookbooks online. I have the actual cookbooks. A lot of Gordon Ramsay recipes are great. Trying anything that I can do in 30 minutes.
Okay. So yeah, time is important there.
Right.
Because 30 minutes of cooking probably means at least an hour of cleanup.
Right.
Especially with toddlers running around.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about your kids? So how have they, I guess, responded to this? Did they always grow up eating this way? How did you work around kids being part of it? Because they'll form their own opinions, obviously. So how did you work with that?
So I get kind of this do-over with the twins. And each child has been very different. So my first child, it really didn't want to eat anything. But it wasn't a picky thing. It was, I just would rather, I would say breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and she would go running in the opposite direction. Mainly because either she wanted to keep reading or playing. And so I spoon fed her into her early elementary years.
Yikes.
Then second child came around, but she would eat anything dutifully. So very obedient. Firstborn, follow the rules. If mom said eat this, and very adventurous eater. So to this day, will eat anything if I said to eat it. Would eat anything at a restaurant, would try it, would not complain. Just a wonderful example to the rest of the family. And then second child came along. Different issue. This severe texture issue. For many years. I was pureeing everything. And so if anything was pureed, so that's where I would sneak in the food. The vegetables, into the food. So the pureeing. So I was spoon feeding like a 6 and a 3-year-old.
Although the key there is that some people would have given up and resorted to same texture foods. So rather than just saying, okay, you only want this, well, here's bread and
well, and that's what I noticed on the easy food. And not just my kids. I look around and I'm like, oh, somehow no one has a problem on the French fries with the texture. Or the chips, or the salty, or the sweet. Somehow the candy goes in.
Yeah.
So limiting those.
So you did not let that get in the way of making a healthy choice for your kid.
We just didn't have it so much in the house. I have a sweet tooth. My husband has a sweet tooth. So the sweets are the harder thing, I think, to keep out of the house.
Yeah, well, I think lots of people could agree with that.
So I just saw a thing actually today that said the new FDA guidelines, which is very interesting, that just came out. They revamped the food pyramid. Said no added sugar through the age of 4.
Wow.
And I've really tried. Like today with the babies, they didn't have any added sugar. They started the day with added sugar. I'm doing something to try to get them to sleep through the night with a piece of chocolate.
But I think maybe what I've noticed is that when it's introduced from a young age and you don't just give in because a toddler says no one time, that they don't actually care as much about the added sugar because it is an addiction, really. And so they're not going to respond in a tantrum about added sugar if you don't base their diet on added sugar.
Oh, right. And oftentimes what I've noticed the second time around, I will offer the real food and then a sweet, and then they'll go back to the real food, or they'll ask for the vegetable or the main meal, and they'll ask for that.
So even thinking about layering in the sugar, that probably has an impact on your blood sugar for sure. Because rather than spiking it and walking away from the table and sitting for an hour,
right,
you're introducing another thing and your body knows what to do with.
Or front loading, and I know a lot of people are doing this with their carbs and their sugar now, is earlier in the day and not at night. And regardless of age.
Right.
So I guess if I had another set to do over, could I make it to the age of 4? Could you make it to the end of 4 without any sweets? I mean, there's Halloween. That's hard. Without any added sugar.
I mean, I'm taking a food and culture class, and so much of what we're talking about is food is how people connect. I mean, regardless of whether it's healthy or unhealthy, each culture has foods you connect over.
Right.
And
Cupcakes,
a lot of them
birthday,
are oily or carbs
sweet.
Or sweet or whatever, but that's how you connect in those cultural celebrations, you know. So that
right. So then to say they can't have it,
that
is hard.
That is. Yes.
At a birthday celebration. Although I have given tiny tastes, or I'll load them up right before the birthday party with either, something really filling, and then they barely can even have that tiny bite.
And so maybe it's not so much telling your kids they can't have the added sugar as providing other things during the routine life to balance their health.
Yeah.
And yeah, so clearly you know there are benefits to eating this way. How have you seen that play out in your kids, in yourself? And then how also, there's not only health benefits, but family benefits of your family life to eating together.
Yeah. I just have approached eating like everything else. How can I do it? I want to be a great mom. I love my kids dearly. I mean, as a lot of people do, but I've thought of food as just one of the many ways of shaping my kids. And I mean, it's huge.
I mean, it literally is shaping your kids.
Well,
because it's fueling every cell in their body.
But living by example, wanting them, I know that the best way to teach is living by example. Not saying you should be doing this, blah, 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 but really living it out. And if I'm going to expect anybody else to do anything, showing them what it looks like. And I do think it's a huge cultural battle. Right now we're fighting a huge battle of really retraining our taste buds.
Yes.
Like, how do we really sit down and enjoy a plate of some cucumbers or some raw peppers or less salt?
And I think it's so much about habit. You can't just start and say, I don't like this and give up.
Right.
I was just reading, it takes 10 to 15 tries for a very young child before they will accept a new food. And so think about how much more tries it's going to take if you're a teenager or an adult.
Right.
So you have to stick with it knowing that it's good for your health.
Yeah. And I want my kids to feel like they have what it takes to survive in this world and to go out and be confident adults and be able to navigate the food choices for themselves.
Right. Yeah. So do you guys, because you're obviously cooking mostly at home, and so do you end up eating together? You have a very busy schedule. Everybody in the family is involved in multiple things. So how does that work out?
It is crazy. I mean, sometimes I'm making a main meal and eating it later. Other people are eating it later, setting aside food for later. I know, okay, for example, Mondays are super crazy. And I'll do a main meal at lunch, set aside the main meal for those. We eat in the car. I know eating in the car is terrible, but we have a big drive to one of our activities in the Monday night. So kind of planning out, making sure, doing a lot of food prep on the weekend.
Yeah, that kind of leads into my next question. How do you manage on a tight schedule, and do you have any tips and tricks for people getting started? Because for me, it will take me an hour just to chop a couple of vegetables. But you manage to do it all 3 times a day. So how do you do it?
Yeah, and do you know, I said I was not going to cook breakfast. I was getting married. My husband had a hot cooked breakfast every day from his mother. His whole childhood. Mm-hmm. And I never did. I mean, my mother cooked a lot, but we did a bowl of cereal. We did cereal, or occasionally she would do something hot. And so I'm like, I am definitely not doing that. And here I am. Almost every day cooking something hot in the morning for the kids. I think trying to keep staples and easy things that I know most people will like
okay.
Whether it's lean ground beef, potatoes, something quick, broccoli, trying to keep our staples available so that I can throw something together.
So the key there is every recipe doesn't have to be Ina Garten and Gordon Ramsay, although sometimes you can do it quickly.
Right.
Sometimes it's focusing on what can you do quickly that people will actually eat.
Right. Because you don't want to do something and no one eat it.
Exactly. So with that, what are some of your go-to, just in general, What's your go-to recipes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Oh boy. I don't know. I know my daughter, my oldest, loves the zucchini pesto pasta, which is my own twist on a vegan. It's really versatile and you can make it a lot of different ways. With real pasta, with bean pasta, gluten-free pasta, sauteed zucchini, lemon, red pepper flakes, garlic, pureed into a sauce. But you can add nuts on top. You can add Parmesan. Oh, I think it's great. So that's a favorite. I think potatoes are great. Tacos. But that's a lot of people do that.
Tacos, see, when people ask what one food would you eat for the rest of your life, everybody should say a taco. Because it could potentially contain every single necessary nutrient. You know, if you had to eat it for the rest of your life, you know, it's got everything in there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what else. I am a variety person, so I wish I could stick to the same meal every. I've tried Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It would be great if I could do that. But
yeah, I've had visions of, you know, every night before I go to bed, calmly making myself a little mason jar of overnight oats. And all these recipes online make it look amazing. And then every time I try it, I'm like, overnight oats, they're gross. Every time I try it, it's gross. So I'm like, you know what?
Can I ask you a question?
Leave that to the influencers.
What do you wish you could have? Would you do a schedule?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, maybe for myself, because I like to check off boxes.
So what would you do in a week? What would be your ideal weekly dinner?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, but I also don't want to eat the same thing every night. I think pasta, I love pasta, just in tomato sauce. That's great with steamed broccoli. Tacos are great.
Chili.
And see, I don't mind leftovers. Some people are anti-leftovers. I'm fine heating up stuff. Chili. Yeah, I mean, any of the warm, hearty foods are nice for dinner. Mm-hmm. Although I know you're supposed to have a lighter dinner and a heavier lunch, but that's not normally how the schedule works out. But yeah, I do like having a vegetable, roasted broccoli or Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts roasted with bacon is actually really good. And both broccoli and Brussels sprouts are stereotypically disliked, but if you roast them with bacon.
Now, I will throw something out there that I know many would question, but one of that I love, if I have roasted broccoli or Brussels sprouts, I love a savory oatmeal in the morning.
Okay, now you will not find this on Instagram, guys. So
I don't know. It's pretty good. Somebody's going to steal it, and then I'm not going to get the credit for it. But take leftover sauteed vegetables. No, roasted. And then I have a savory. I take plain oatmeal cooked in water.
Okay, so not milk.
No.
Cook it in water.
Mm-hmm. And I take the oatmeal, I reheat the vegetables, and then maybe a drizzle of olive oil. You could do red pepper flakes. You can do some Parmesan cheese. It almost becomes like a risotto.
Interesting.
And you can add a soft-boiled egg. And I know some people are like, what? But it's good.
Okay, if you post this on your Instagram, I mean, you better put a link to this podcast. Because this idea, you are not going to find many places.
So my kids, will look at my bowl and see the Brussels sprouts or whatever vegetable is in
and
there.
The pepper on the oatmeal. Okay, I'm a person, I put chocolate chips on my oatmeal. I put raisins, syrup, cinnamon, very, sweet flavors.
Yeah.
So that is a whole different direction.
Well, I know some people are like, you should do dinner for breakfast. I just can't get there. Although that sounds like dinner for breakfast. That's as far as I can go in terms of hearty.
I mean, that basically is because there's no sugar in that.
No. My goal, and I really try, is that if I'm going to have sugar, it is in the sweet that I'm eating.
Okay, so that means, guys, really, if you look at packages, there is sugar in every packaged food you buy.
But my goal,
It
there
could
are a
be-
few that don't have
There's
them.
some, but it could be it could be a very savory thing and have sugar in it.
Right.
So that's when you go, I did not realize this was
Well,
part of my added sugar.
that would take jelly off the table, jam and a peanut butter.
And I don't know that those things are necessarily bad.
No,
but
I just
really, jam and peanut butter are supposed to go in a lot smaller quantities than I think anyone is capable of actually using them.
Yeah.
So that's the tricky thing.
Yeah.
With that.
So that's my goal.
Wow, that is very impressive.
But I don't do it every day. But I think my sisters do.
Okay.
So
it sounds like there's a family trend here.
They're as healthy or healthier than I am, I think.
So maybe get some family members involved. If you want to do it,
I do think it's very hard to do this by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, whether it's cooking for your family, it has to be a buy-in from the family and from the spouse. It's great when there's a community of people around you. I think that's what was disappointing to me early on when I was raising the first two when they were little, is that it just felt like I was alone in whatever circles.
Mm-hmm.
That I was the only one not giving junk food. The babies now just said this to me the other day. They said, again, did you know there's a house with a built-in slide in the window?
Oh, guys, that's McDonald's.
McDonald's.
The house with the built-in slide.
Doesn't that sound fun? They don't even know what it is. They don't know the name. And I don't know that they've ever been.
Maybe on a road trip.
Maybe.
They got it on a road trip.
Did we? Maybe.
One time
in
their life.
I don't even think.
And
one time.
Yeah.
One time in their life, and they're going to be 4.
Yeah.
I think that's phenomenal.
I mean, it is. I mean, yeah. I look around at kids at my school, and they're getting that stuff every day, And if you are somebody that does that, you can change it, and you will be able to start that trend for your family. It's just going to take a lot of dedication.
It's just sad because it's not, our taste buds really have to be retrained, and it takes time, and it will take retraining of everybody over time. But I have learned that if you're hungry enough, you'll almost eat anything. Setting up that hunger.
Yep. So also that for kids, and this applies to a lot of things. A lot of parents today, if their kid says no, they're being like, oh no, well, we'll have to think of something else.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can make your kid do stuff, and that they'll be better for it, especially in this area, because food really does affect your whole body.
Yeah.
And the gift of eating together as a family is something we're losing today.
Yeah. And I homeschool, so we eat together a lot. And so what's funny is that we've had to almost battle, like, we love talking together so much that sometimes we have to say, okay, we've got to move on.
We've got to go to bed.
We're going to have
midnight. We can't keep talking.
We have more meals to enjoy together. It's so great. It's so great that we have fun and we're laughing. And
so it is possible to build that reality for your family. It's not something that only Instagram people can do. You don't have to get up at 5.
No.
You don't have to be...
I am anti 4 a.m., but maybe, I don't look like those women who wake up at 4 a.m.,
I guess the point is, you don't have to do anything crazy. It just means you have to be dedicated. And it really is worth it for the change, I think, and the difference it makes in the lives of your family.
Yeah. I also think certain cultures are better at this than others, like a fresh food and of preparing the French, for example, because they have a routine of picking up their food on the way home and going by the markets and the farmers markets on an almost daily basis, that kind of fresh everything. And they just put simple, it's quick. The women are working. They're working. It's not like they're all home or that we're all home. We're working.
Yeah.
And we're busy and we're driving the kids around and then we're going home. It also is okay for everybody to say, you know what? dinner will be in 45 minutes. You'll
Yes.
survive that long. That sort of the French have that, they eat a lot later. There is patience. They don't snack. Like,
Yeah, that's all the other thing. If you're wondering why your kids aren't eating their broccoli, but then they've had 2 bags of chips in an afternoon,
oh my gosh, I have to say this. The other day, I went with my fitness friends to coffee, and it was so hard for us not to say anything. It was 9 a.m., and the family behind us, they were opening bags of potato chips.
That is not a complete
My
breakfast, guys.
stomach felt sick looking.
Oh, dear.
And
Oh,
I was like,
dear.
I'm trying not to be judgy. We didn't say anything, but we all looked at each other and were like, oh my gosh, there was so much junk that those kids were having.
Mm-hmm.
And all 4 of them were on phones.
Oh.
And they were very young.
There is a big connection, I think, between healthy eating and screen use. So if you're looking to reverse one, maybe reverse the other as well.
That's a good idea.
I think, because even think about the patience thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on your screen, everything is instantly given to you when you want it. You can even order food instantly when you want it. So if your kid is used to an instant gratification response to whatever they want, that's not setting them up well to have good physical health in their life, because you don't get physical health quickly. It is slow, and it takes chopping and going on a walk and doing things that take a longer time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just throw it in the microwave for 45 seconds, although you can with frozen peas. So that is one thing, but it's both of them kind of go hand in hand, I think.
Yeah, good point.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for
Jane.
having me. This is so fun.
So to our listeners, we're so glad that you've joined us. Comment if you care, subscribe if you dare, and until next time, I'm your host, Charlie Charles, and this is the O Charles Show, over and out.